Hi.
Welcome back to the TV classroom.
We're glad you're here on this beautiful day.
That's right. Let's check in with our zone.
Let's do that.
How are you feeling today? We're going to play a game that some of you have played with us called Freeze Frame. After you figure out your zone, I'm going to count down from 3. And when I get to 0, you're going to act out your feeling as though you are a statue. You cannot move. You must be still. It must be statue form. The people around you should try to figure out what you're feeling, and you should be trying to figure out what we are feeling.
This is fun.
It is so fun. Okay, think about it. What zone are you in? Think about why, and then act it out. 3, 2, 1, 0.
I see a theme here at TV Classroom.
Friends, what zone are we in? The blue zone.
Blue zone. We're
All of
tired.
us.
Blue zone.
It's the afternoon. Miss Teresa just finished filming a great art lesson.
It was great.
But we've had a long break. So, objects in motion stay in motion. Objects at rest stay at rest, friends. Some of you learned about that in your forces lesson.
Yes.
We are
Sure.
trying to get ourselves moving after being at rest. So, social emotional learning is a great way to do that.
It really
Especially because we
is.
play brain games.
Yes, we
and
do.
It excites and wakes up our brains.
It does. Let's review our 3 personal standards.
Great idea.
Today and every day, when we come together, we agree to
Show respect, make good decisions, and solve problems. And one way we have chosen here at the TV Classroom to show respect is to honor our Indigenous lands and people and hold space for them.
And we do that when we look outside the window, look at the sky, the trees, your surroundings. Our physical space stands on the historical and ancestral lands of the Puyallup Tribe of Indians. We acknowledge the Puyallup Tribe of Indians community, their elders, both past and present, as well as future generations. We make this acknowledgement as part of our work to dismantle the ongoing legacies of settler colonialism and unjust treatment.
What do we mean by unjust treatment?
Unjust treatment is treatment that's not fair, unfair. It's not just.
So that means in the past, the Indigenous people of this area were treated unfairly,
Yes.
and we're recognizing that that happened.
Yes.
We're just recognizing it. We're saying, yes, that happened.
And that means a lot
It
when
does.
something has happened.
Because when we know better, we do better.
better.
And it's a lot easier to look, they say the saying, hindsight's 20/20. It's much clearer when you look back on history to figure out what was right and what was wrong or unjust. Sometimes you don't understand it in the moment.
Exactly.
And so we look back on that and go, whoa, that was not okay.
Yes.
We won't do that again. And we're recognizing that it happened, and
Yeah.
we're sorry that it happened.
Yeah. That's a strong explanation. Are we ready for our brain game?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. The purpose of this brain game is cognitive flexibility.
We're going to need that today because we're all really tired. Maybe it'll stretch our brain and make it flexible so we'll wake up.
Maybe it will. Cognitive flexibility is important for us to be able to look at situations in new or different ways.
It's a great strategy to have when you feel stuck.
Yes.
Have you ever felt stuck when you're trying to do something and you just can't do it? And you keep trying the same thing and it's not working and you're just stuck.
Yes.
Might be with a friend, might be with your schoolwork, might be with a family member. You just get stuck.
I was thinking about like our documents that we create
Yes.
and to show teachers what we're planning for our TV classroom lessons. And sometimes it takes someone else coming in and being like, hey, have you thought of this? And it's like, no, I didn't.
I didn't think of that. Thank you.
I was not thinking flexibly.
Right.
And it always adds new, better, fresh ideas.
It does. And so I've learned to ask lots of different people in lots of different areas to get their input so we get a really good final product.
So this brain game is called What Do They Have in Common?
Whoa, are you ready, Mr. Kevin? Or are you
Or-
asleep back
yes.
there on your table?
No,
Oh, good.
I'm with
I
you.
couldn't see the top of your head, and I thought maybe you
No sleeping on the
taking a
job,
little
Mr. Kevin.
nap.
No.
I'm going to say 3 seemingly unrelated words.
Okay. Oh,
And
this
I'm
is
going to
fun.
say, what 2 things do these items have in common?
Okay. Do we have to ding, ding, ding if we think we know?
Sure.
Ready, Mr. Kevin?
Yeah.
You ready for a competition?
Okay.
Here we go.
orange basketball cookie.
Ding, 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 ding. They're all round.
They are all round.
That was
Goes really
pretty
fast.
fast, Mrs. Wally.
Really fast.
This
How
is
did
an-
you
This is
do
another
that?
one of those secret talents I have.
How'd you do it?
I just thought about what they all had in common.
Did you picture them
No.
in your mind? Just
As you were just saying them, I'm like, what are the features of that? And then
Okay.
I was, oh, same feature. Oh, same feature. Yeah, I know.
okay. Nice. We ready for another one?
Mm-hmm.
Apple penny pizza.
Ding, 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 ding. No, never mind. Oh, yes. Ding, 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 ding. Do you know Mr. Kevin?
No.
They all have 2 syllables.
Oh, that's not what I was thinking. Another example of cognitive flexibility. They all
Wow.
have P's
What were you
in
thinking?
them. Oh, I was originally thinking starting with P's, but Apple doesn't start with P. It just is in the middle. That's a good one.
Apple penny pizza. Apple penny pizza. Yeah, they do have 2 syllables. Super fun.
Okay, I'm ready.
You ready for another one? Okay, this one I have to make up. It's not written down on a
There's
card.
only 2 on there?
There's only 2 examples. I know.
Oh.
Okay, I have
Okay,
some.
flexible.
Here we go.
Make them hard.
Bottled water, napkins, lunch meat.
What is
Mr.
it,
Kevin.
Mr. Kevin?
I think you could all use those in a picnic.
See, I didn't think of that.
Let me see if I can think of what you were thinking of. Say it again.
Bottled water, napkins, lunch meat.
Lunch meat. They all come in disposable packaging?
Not what I was thinking, but yes.
What were you thinking?
You buy them all at a grocery store.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. I wonder if I could come up with one. Can I
Try
come
it.
up with
Yeah,
one?
do it.
Okay. Zucchini, sunflowers, strawberries.
They're all plants?
Nope. They all come from plants. Well, one's a plant. Some of them come from a plant. I know.
Zucchinis, sunflowers, strawberries.
Yeah.
3 syllables?
Nope. But they do all have
Yes,
3
and.
syllables. I've stumped them, everybody. Just like you stumped me with the grocery store one. It has nothing to do with the words. It has to do with the actual features of the thing. What?
They all come from flowers.
Nope, but they do.
They all
They'll
grow
grow.
above ground.
Nope.
No?
They all have seeds you eat.
Oh.
I had to think that through.
Sunflower, that was the one that I threw in to
Yeah,
throw everybody off.
Because you do.
We do. We eat sunflower seeds.
That was fun. Yeah, ding, ding, ding. Everybody's a winner.
Mr. Kevin, do you want to do one?
No.
Friends,
I
this
could
is-
play that game forever.
I bet. This is a really, really fun game to help you practice your cognitive flexibility.
We did have to be flexible. Think of, like, you kind of get stuck in a box of thinking about the same
Yes.
features of something.
Yes. That you can play with people around you. It's
Fun.
really fun.
You don't even need anything for it. Just
No.
you and your brain.
And you could even think about how many different similarities you come up with.
for one set of
For
objects.
one set of objects.
Ooh, that would be great.
Or you could make it more tricky by saying what 2 things are the same.
Ooh. So there's lots of ways to be
lots.
flexible with this game.
Yes.
Might be something that would be really fun to do if you're on like a long car ride.
Ooh.
Way better
Yeah.
for your brain than staring at a tablet.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And you can use the skill of having cognitive flexibility anytime you have a hurdle on the path to teamwork.
That's right. You sure can.
Because they're going to happen.
They do.
And conflicts can be what we say messy, in that you might have a different way of solving a conflict than I do. And if
Most
we,
of the time.
Most of the time. And if we can have a respectful conversation and figure out how we can work together to solve our conflict, I will probably learn from Mrs. Wally a way that I didn't think of.
And I learned from Miss Oslin. Miss Oslin and I have had lots of conflicts, but they haven't been negative.
No.
They've been really positive, and they're hurdles on the path to teamwork. But because we respect each other and know each other and use cognitive flexibility, they haven't been a hurdle.
They haven't, because we use the cool rule.
We sure do.
We treat others the way they want to be treated.
And I'm noticing in my life more and more how important this rule is, and how when I use this rule, how everyone around me, all of their needs are met.
That's important.
Even when Oliver is throwing macaroni and cheese on the floor when he's not supposed to be, I think about, if I was Oliver, how would I want my parents to handle this? And I handle it that way. And no, it's not ever just let me get away with it.
No. Today we're going to learn the importance of stopping in your tracks and getting the facts. And we're going to think about what happens when you stop in your tracks and get the facts and it's uncomfortable information.
I think that's the tricky part of problem solving, is that we want to be right.
Or we think, we don't want to make assumptions about why someone's doing something. I mean, Mrs. Wally does something. I'm like, I'm sure she doesn't mean to. What if she does?
What if I did? And then you have to confront that. It's really hard to have those hard conversations. We've had to have a few of those lately. And
we have.
Oh, it was really, really hard. But you know what? After the conversation, it was just fine.
And I even was like, do we have to, Mrs.
And
Wally?
I said, this is what we teach our students to do. Yeah, we do.
How would this person want to be treated? I was like, oh, you're right, even though it's hard.
Even though I don't want to do it.
Today, the thinking you're going to do is, how does stopping in your tracks to get the facts cause fewer conflicts? And what do you do when you get the facts, but they are upsetting or uncomfortable? We're going to read a book today. It's called Miranda Peabody and the Case of the Lunchroom Spy. It's a story about group bullying and gossip. It's written and illustrated by Susan DeBell, who has a PhD, which means a doctorate. It's kind of a long book, so we're going to go through it a little bit quickly so we make sure we have time for it.
Because we want you to get to the end. So this is more just listen for how these people are solving problems, and it's more of not an interactive read aloud, just a listening read aloud. I'm going to do my best not to stop Miss Oslin.
There she is, the spy, whispered Thomas Kolpowski as Miranda Peabody and her friends sat down at the second grade lunch table. Miranda wondered who Thomas was talking about and asked who this person was. Her, over there. Mary Sarah Brownington, the lunchroom spy, explained Thomas to his friends. Miranda and her friends looked in the direction that Thomas was pointing to see a girl with frizzy golden hair looking down and writing something in a small notebook. How do you know she's a spy? Asked Miranda. I hear that she watches everyone in the lunchroom and on the playground, writes things in her spy book, and then reports everything to Principal Appleberry, explained Miranda's best friend, Patricia Greenwood.
They're making an assumption.
They are. Wow, thought Miranda. What is she saying about me? Miranda decided from then on that she was never going to speak to Mary Sarah, let alone try to be friends with her. Mary Sarah was a spy and was not to be trusted no matter what. There's only one way to deal with a spy, declared Miranda's best friend, Arlene Lee. We have to make sure she doesn't get any important information that she can bring to Principal Appleberry or to our teacher, Ms. Klemp.
Can I stop you there for a second? I want to do some flexible thinking around this.
Okay.
So they're saying, if we don't allow her to see us misbehaving, that's important. We just don't want to get caught.
Don't want to get caught. Exactly.
What if they just didn't do the wrong thing?
What if they put their energy into thinking about what is an appropriate way to act, as opposed to putting their energy into trying to avoid getting caught, being in trouble?
Because it's not about getting in trouble. It's about how you feel and how you treat others. That's the reality of life,
right?
Right? It's about how we make others feel and the community we surround ourselves with. And this isn't sounding like a very kind community.
No. And it's also important when we think about our actions, how do they make us feel? Because at the end of the night, when I'm by myself, going to bed, I'm going to be thinking about the choices that I made and how I feel about it.
They didn't get the facts.
They did not.
they're assuming that this person's writing down spy things in her notebook. I'm wondering if they've asked her what she's writing down.
They're gossiping.
Sorry, I felt like we had to stop there.
Yes, no. But how can we do this? Asked Miranda. We can ignore her, never speak to her. We can give her the look, explained Thomas Kolpowski. The look? Asked others. The look, repeated Thomas, like this. And he made a very, very mean looking face. If we treat Mary Sarah in a mean way, she won't like us and will keep her distance. She won't ever come close enough to hear what we're saying or to see what we're doing, stated Thomas. If she's a spy, we need to warn other students. We have to tell everyone that Mary Sarah is a dangerous spy and that everyone has to be very careful whenever she comes around them, said Miranda. Let's write a secret report about Mary Sarah and give it to the other students in the lunchroom and on the playground. We'll tell them that Mary Sarah is mean and sneaky. We can't trust her, and we can't be friends with her. Ever, whispered Arlene Lee. Miranda, you're good at writing, agreed her friends. Go home and write an article on your computer about what Mary Sarah is up to and then pass it out to everyone to let the other students know what is really happening. Miranda went home that day and typed a brief report about Mary Sarah and her spying activities. She even drew a cartoon making fun of Mary Sarah's hair and clothes, proving that she was a person that no one should trust.
That makes my heart
I
sad.
just felt it, yes.
Oh. The sad thing is I've seen students do this before.
Yes.
I've had to help them walk through how to fix this problem, but it's really painful.
Miranda even began to think of herself as a secret spy from TV shows, books, and pictures she had seen. She knew that spies were mean and nasty. She also knew they were odd, very angry, and often were out to hurt other people. So she described Mary Sarah in this way as she wrote her article. Even though she knew it was wrong to say and write mean things about other people, she knew that Mary Sarah was a spy and must be stopped before she got everyone in trouble, no matter what. Besides, everyone was counting on her, and Miranda did not want to let her friends down. The next morning, the hallway just outside their classroom, Miranda and her friends secretly passed out their spy report. So I have a prediction that Mary Sarah is going to find out about this, right?
I think so. That's what's going to happen.
It's kind of what always happens in stories. How is she going to feel?
Probably the way we're feeling right now. I'm empathizing with Mary Sarah right now. My heart is sad. And I'm sad that this person decided this route.
When the other students read the news about Mary Sarah, they started whispering among themselves and began to avoid being anywhere near her. No one could sit with her, speak to her, and they would not include her in any of their playground games and activities. Some students even sent emails and instant messages to each other calling Mary Sarah super spy of Mountain Stream Elementary School. Even when Miranda and her friends noticed that Mary Sarah began to look sad, stay by herself, and spent most of her lunch and recess period in Ms. Klemp's room, they continued to treat her like a spy. The students were so interested in stopping the spying and in avoiding Mary Sarah in every way that they never stopped to understand what was really going on. They did not stop in their tracks to get the facts.
They didn't, and they didn't even realize what they were doing and how wrong it was. They were taking an assumption about somebody and then treating them differently because of what they thought of them, which is never okay.
And they didn't notice that Principal Appleberry, Mrs. Lee, the lunchroom supervisor, and their classroom teacher, Ms. Klemp, were watching everything and were about to teach the students a very important lesson on fairness and friendship. When Miranda and her friends arrived at school the very next morning, they saw a large sign on the school door announcing a very important meeting for all second grade students in the lunchroom at 10 a.m. When 10 a.m. arrived, Ms. Klemp and the other second grade teachers led their students to the lunchroom where they were seated in their usual places. Principal Appleberry and Mrs. Lee then passed out many different colored papers, one paper to each student. Mrs. Lee and Principal Appleberry began to address the students. "We have a very important activity for you to do," stated Principal Appleberry. "Look at the color of your paper. Get out of your seat and find the student who has the exact same color as you," instructed Mrs. Lee. Slowly, the students got up from their seats and began to find the student with the same colored paper. To Miranda's shock and surprise, she and Mary Sarah had the same color. Slowly, Miranda approached Mary Sarah and they both sat down. Sure enough, Mary Sarah took out her notebook and began to write something in it. At that very moment, Mrs. Lee asked the students to ask their paper partner one question. Taking a deep breath, Miranda asked, "Mary Sarah, what is in that notebook of yours?" "See for yourself," replied Mary Sarah, and she carefully passed the notebook to Miranda. As Miranda carefully turned each page, she couldn't believe what she saw. It wasn't a notebook at all. It was a sketchbook filled with beautiful pictures of people, animal, and flowers. "You're not a spy. You're an artist," exclaimed Miranda to Mary Sarah. "A spy," said Mary Sarah. "I just like to draw things." As Miranda sat and turned each page, she saw wonderful pictures drawn by a talented young artist. As she studied the drawings, she began to speak to Mary Sarah. She began to see Mary Sarah Brownington in a very different way than she had before. She wasn't sneaky, mean, or out to get other students in trouble. Instead, she was talented, kind, and a person who could be a terrific friend. Later during lunch, Miranda asked her friends to come over to Mary Sarah's lunch table. Everyone was very impressed by Mary Sarah's drawing. Mary Sarah then began to tell the others that she loved to draw more than anything else in the world, and that this was the way she liked to spend her lunch and recess time. Miranda and the other students then apologized for the mean newsletter and emails they had sent about Mary Sarah. Miranda asked Mary Sarah if she could print a new newsletter with Mary Sarah's beautiful drawings with Principal Appleberry's approval. The newsletter was printed and passed out to all of the students. It included a story about Mary Sarah and her wonderful pictures.
What a great solution.
And we can actually stop the story there. So, learned an important lesson about stop in your tracks and get the facts.
I don't have my paper.
Remember the lesson where she crumpled up a piece of paper when they said mean things?
What if those students who thought she was a spy at the beginning of the story had gone to Mary Sarah and asked them, so her paper's flat, right? There's the whole relationship, no damage. What are you doing in your notebook, Mary Sarah? And she said, "Oh, I'm drawing."
They would know.
They would know, and they would move on. Instead, they made up this whole big elaborate story about her being a spy and damaged Mary Sarah. And they can flatten out her paper with an apology, but those damages are still there.
And when you put things on the computer, on the internet, they
Or on
never
paper.
go away.
Never.
So a piece of paper, if you write something, you can throw it away. But when it goes out into the internet, it's there forever.
They can find it even if you delete it. So, and bullying on the internet is, in my view, worse because it's hidden, and we don't want to treat people. Did Mary Sarah want to be treated that way?
No. Here's a tricky question. What if they had asked her and it had been mean stuff?
Ooh.
What do you do if you stop in your tracks and you get the facts and the news is upsetting?
Well, you need to go through the calm down steps first to see, make sure you're not at a 4 or a 5. And then you need to use one of our conflict resolution strategies. And you need to approach that person and you need to solve the problem. You don't go talk to everybody else about it.
This is the time of the year where we're at the end of the year.
Everyone's kind of tired.
But we have all the tools.
We do.
We have all the strategies. We just need to make the choice to stop and think and get the information.
Now, if you're needing help, you need to go to an adult and ask for help.
Yes.
Not to a friend.
No.
Going to a friend to ask for help solving a problem as a student is gossip. You're just labeling it as getting help. You need to go to an adult who's trained in how to help you solve these problems. Someone like your school counselor, your school nurse, your teacher, your principal, a paraeducator, a parent, or another adult that you trust.
Exactly.
And say, I need help solving a problem. I got some information and I feel sad about it. And they'll help you solve that problem.
Today, we learned the importance of stopping in your tracks and getting the facts.
It really does stop a lot of hurt feelings and conflict.
It really does. So you are going to do some thinking about how does stopping in your tracks to get the facts cause fewer conflicts?
That's right.
And what do you do when you do get the facts, but they are upsetting or uncomfortable?
And maybe they're the facts you thought they were.
And if you're comfortable without anyone's name, you could post something on Flipgrid about how stopping in your tracks and getting the facts causes fewer conflict. And what do you do if you do get the facts and they're upsetting?
That's right.
You could also create something that's going to answer those two questions or some thinking that you did around these strategies. And you can send them to us here at TV Classroom. Mr. Kevin's going to tell you 2 ways that you can do that.
2 ways, yes, 2 ways that you can stop in your tracks, get the facts before you go off, with just half a mind, right? Send them to TV Classroom at tacoma.k12.wa.us, or you can use the other way, which is to send them in the mail. TV Classroom, 601 South 8th Street, Tacoma, Washington, 98405.
All right.
Now it's time for our affirmation. This is our positive self-talk, where we remind ourselves that there's good in all of us. And today our affirmation is, I treat others the way they want to be treated. So I'll take a deep breath together and say the affirmation. I treat others the way they want to be treated. Excellent job today, Tacoma. We hope you have a great rest of your day, and we look forward to seeing you back here next time in our TV Classroom.
Hey, friends.
Rules. 1. You have 10 seconds to pick your crewmate. 2. A new timer will appear with an exercise for the crewmate you picked. 3. You will get points for each correct crewmate and exercise you choose. 4. You will get bonus points if you hit a grand slam. 5. If you pick the imposter, you will lose all your points. 6. Use your math skills to see how many points you can get. Good luck.
You're killing me, Smalls. You're killing me, Smalls. You're killing me, Smalls.